Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the ECAC Esports All-Star Women's Showcase. We had four teams duking it out in a double elimination bracket yesterday. Again, I am Ash. I wasn't here yesterday, but the lovely Tala, also known as Epitomes, was. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the matches that we saw yesterday and Saturday?
So our four teams are University of South Florida, uh, and Wayne State College, John Jay, as well as Pace University. And right now we are going to be watching Pace and University of South Florida in the double elimination. The only team that has gone out so far is Wayne State, who lost to USF yesterday on a map of Haven, while John Jay are in the finals waiting for whoever is going to win this next series.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see how the lower bracket is going to play out. Again, it's only a best of one here before we head into the grand finals and see who will be duking it out against John Jay. But whew, we've got our map already set in stone. We're going to be taking it over to Bind first off, and I believe that was USF Valsan's map pick. And Pace University elected to start on the defense first. How are you feeling about that decision?
Well, I definitely think that defense might be a little bit more favored to on Bind, especially for Pace, who had a really close match yesterday with Wayne State, and that went to, I believe, like five overtimes, ended 17-15. And because Wayne State really struggled against USF, I think they're going to need that favorable map side beginning on the defense.
That is for sure. But at the same time, it's a little bit risky because it can also be a bit of a strategy to end on the defense, right? On a map like Bind, where it's so
Mm-hmm.
defensive favored, a lot of teams struggle to close it out on the attacking side. We've already got a lot of hovers coming in here for Agent Select, University of Southern Florida. You've got Neko on that raise pick, which is a pretty standard one here on Bind, using that boombot to clear out hookah. The paint shells are huge for the close corners, but otherwise, we're seeing a very different composition on both teams aside from the Sentinel and the Duelist.
Yeah, I definitely find that Omen might actually be a weaker pick here on Bind just because it's smaller. You can't really make as much use of those shrouded steps as well as the from the shadows. But I feel that Brim is a stronger pick just because he's able to put down those sky smokes and they last for quite a long time. And it allows for a lot of rotations to come around and movement around the map here for the side of USF. So now we have the fade as
Select
well
your
for the info
agent.
gathering, and I feel like there's very little info on the side of Pace University.
Yeah, on the side of Pace University, they elected to go for the double controller setup instead, which is something that you do see on Bind every once in a while, but often the second controller ends up being that Viper who plays more of like that pseudo sentinel role on the defender's side. So the Omen and Brim kind of mix for controllers there is not something
Mm-hmm.
that you see nearly as frequently.
Yeah, I definitely think that the Omen Brim is an interesting pickup, especially since Viper has so much value on this map when it comes to her mollies and just being able to deny so much vision, especially because of how small Bind is. And you can kind of sneak up into a lot of these little angles, like up to elbow or into U-Haul with the help of that toxic screen. But now without that, it's going to be a little bit tougher, I think, especially for a double controller, even on the defense, because you have a lot of vision denial, but when you have info gathering to go through that denial of vision, then it becomes a lot less important. So having the fade, they're going to have to be careful about destroying those haunts. But it's also worth mentioning, they did play the double controller yesterday, Pace University, but because they have a sub today, which is Ducky, instead of the place of Jamie, who played the Viper, I believe it's just a matter of a comfort pick on the different agents.
That's a really good thing to point out, and to kick things off, we're going to see this Mika Boombot coming through to clear out those tight angles. And it looks like it's just going to be a full-on B-split here for University of Southern Florida on this pistol round. Neko already claiming the space now in Hookah, and info gathered here for Pace as we actually see two smokes
Where are
down
you?
in Hookah there, and the Boombot was extended through
Mark
the
one.
Well, they know where at least one of these players are. USF also had a close match yesterday with John Jay, and John Jay pretty much swept Pace on Bind 13-1. So I'm sure this is going to be a little bit of a nervous match as well for Pace. So quick teleport comes through into the A site showers, and it's just Avery right now alone on the site. Spots one, tries to retreat back into the U-Haul, but is being pinched from all angles by the attackers. Luckily there is a quick rotation coming in, but all the sky smokes have gone down. They're onto the site. Teddy already triple. It's a trade back and forth between USF and Pace, but now after a few more picks swing the way of South Florida, they've left themselves in a 2v4 as that spike goes down.
Ooh, 2 guiding lights available here for Angel, though. First one about to be sent out through heaven. Not able to gather too much information. No flash will connect, and Teddy holding the angle is going to get that drop down, leaving Keizu in a 4v1 situation. And unfortunately not able to play off the turret quite enough. A very clean round here for the University of Southern Florida. I like how, you know, they did bait out a lot of utility actually from Pace over on the B site before taking that quick rotation over, where I believe that was Avery left alone on A. Did not have any more utility, no paint shells or anything like that to slow the push down in.
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of util expended at the beginning of the round as well, and there wasn't really any smokes, neither dark cover or sky smokes, to kind of stop and delay the push, make time for the rotations. So USF just had a pretty free A site as soon as they made that rotation. Seems like they're going to try and work their way up to B once again. The Prowler does expire, so no info gathered off the rip from Green. I'm still debate about how to pronounce that name.
We'll figure it out in due time. Haunt able to gather one though, so information given. They know that the Killjoy will be sitting in back sight. And once again, the paint shells to go out, but it doesn't matter because University of Southern Florida on this buy-up round, they've already claimed the site space here on B. Spike. It's been initiated. We're looking at a 4v4 on this retake.
Still, they have been able to get one player down, so that's a Spectre that can potentially be picked up. Unfortunately, it's down on the site. But Ducky, it's still a trade back and forth, even though it's a buy-up. It's pretty expensive so far, but let's see if May can clean it up. Whiffs the last shot, has the reload. So it's all up to Angel, who picks up that Spectre, has that guiding light for the info. It does not connect, and Kareen is able to turn and get that shot onto Angel. So pretty expensive, 3 players left, 3 Spectres on the ground, but even then they are able to win it out. Still, this bonus is going to be pretty tough.
Still nice damage though for the side of Pace University, able to get 3 guns out of their hands, do a bit of chip damage on those shields as well, so it doesn't allow University of Southern Florida to accumulate that kind of hefty bonus rounds. They will have to invest a little bit more into it. You're going to see some shields coming out, and actually just the 3 members who did not make it out with their SMGs are going to elect to stick with pistols alone in their utility. And once again, we can see that USF heavily favored the B site for now. Could just be a bit of conditioning that they're looking to do, but Ducky already falling back just to not get spotted out by that boom bot. Will give up this octagon space over towards USF as they make their moves in. Teddy's looking for an early point of contact.
Actually, this is one of the worst first chambers that we've seen in this tournament. We really haven't seen much chamber here, so I'm excited to see if this can make an impact. But Jinxed Rose going to be that tip of the spear with the other Sentinel getting that first pick. And now the Rendezvous down on the site. They've just given it up for free. A lot of space being taken by USF.
Oh, look at that reflank, though, coming towards Huga. You've got Neko getting the drop on Avery after hearing that TP go through. Teddy with the Headhunter, like you mentioned, managed to get a pickup of her own as well. And USF, they look like they're maybe potentially going to actually convert this bonus round in their favor, because on the side of Pace, you do have Ducky, who's incredibly low, and that's going to be a death over towards the turret. This might be a 3-0 here for USF.
And Neko goes aggressive with the last pick with the Spectre, and it is a bonus round converted. I'm not really sure what happened there because Pace, they had guns, didn't they? Okay, actually that is debatable. I don't think they bought up into that last round and instead are making this one their buy round, so it should be guns across the board, but Neko, who still has that single Spectre from a few rounds before is going to opt to save that instead of upgrading to a better weapon. And I think we just saw Avery expend one of their blast packs trying to get up onto the truck, which was a little unsuccessful. So we are a little bit of util short going into this round for Pace University.
It happens. It happens. But it was a bit of an awkward buy. I think on Pace University, you did have quite a few rifles across the board, and then there was maybe one or two members who elected to go with the SMGs instead up against that bonus. But we're seeing this B hit once again. You can see that the side of Pace University, they've elected to actually already early on invest an extra person over towards the B site, knowing how much USF tend to favor it. And again, we're going to have those TPs coming through. You've got Avery alone and in a really difficult position here actually on the A site. Paint shells to come out, but it's going to be difficult to fall back.
Ooh. Nice first shot. It's a trade back and forth still, but the site is basically open since Avery was really the only contender there who was fighting for the front site position. It's a free plant by Truck. Ender Pearl kind of lingering in her smoke, trying to figure out if she wants to go and peek for the front site, but instead waits for the backup of the team. I know where at least one is, but taking down that Killjoy is going to be a little bit painful. Now they have one less player. Ender Pearl trades that back, though. Jinx throws, looking towards the triple position, and just sprays through to get that pick. Nicely done there, but U-Haul is being fought for, and they're narrowing down the numbers one by one. Angel just spraying into the smoke, but in the end, it's all red in the kill feed.
4-0 here for USF and Pace University put into that. Oh, okay. No. Yeah, okay. The half buy to come through. I was like, are they really going to force the rifles here? But it's difficult to be stuck in this kind of economy, right? Epitomes, you have that kind of back and forth where it's like, okay, if we don't like convert a thrifty round or our next buy round, we're going to be back on another save. And it's really tough once you're put into that position. What I would like to see maybe on the next buy is the adjustment coming out from Pace to maybe put their Killjoy, that's Kazui, over towards the A site if they do want to lean more heavily towards B, just so you can leave, you know, the Killjoy to anchor solo. It's a lot better than having Avery who's, you know, pushing out and then gets stuck in those kind of positions where she can't really fall back. They can't really fall back. But once again, USF going over towards the B site. Kazui caught out by that paint shells, the same boom bot to come through from A as well, but this time around Avery, they're not going for the flank.
They're using the lockdown to get themselves into the site, and they just Pace decides to surrender it, even though they don't really have much to lose here. May has to know that there are a lot of players just huddled in CT, but doesn't go for the orbital strike just yet since they have that free site anyway. And Teddy is going to be the one to secure first blood for her team, and he's even trying to find a third for Teddy in the rendezvous out. And there's so much damage being done to Pace, and I'm not sure if they can reconcile this. Neko is able to find another, and it's all left up to Angel. Only a Spectre in her hands, a possible flawless on the board for USF.
Either way, Angel will likely get the Seekers online for the next round, so there's that. We'll expend the Trailblazer to try and grab that early information, but Karen with the aggression in towards Elbow is going to close things off with a flawless round, like you said, 5-0. And Sala, you mentioned the Chamber coming out for the first time, seeing if we're going to get the value out of it, and I think Teddy just proved us right.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of value from this chamber so far. And I also want to mention that in matches that Pace has played previously, I've noticed that they really don't like switching their setups. Like when they had, I don't know if it was Pace, but I believe it was, they had both a Sage and a Killjoy. They had them both playing on the same site and just never moved them around, ever. And for the entire time, it didn't matter if they won or lose, they never switched it up. And I think Pace, they just really like to go for those comfort plays. But Avery, ooh, this is a really nice position here.
This could be big considering the fact that the Prowler actually didn't spot them out, and Kazui for the first time actually playing in Hookah. So some adjustments are actually coming out here from Pace. They swapped out the defenders per site, and USF, after seeing that change, actually elect to make the rotation over towards A, where you see Pace University holding the fort down. They got the Omen and the Sky online, but They're split up at the moment, but there is potential for Angel to actually get a reflank here through Showers.
Spike planted.
Ooh, Angel could have a really good position behind this team, and they're not going to expect it. But with the Seekers out, they know at least the position of this Sky, and the Trailblazer is going to give that away even further. Just stalled out by the paint shells as that orbital strike goes out from the defenders. Avery secures that first pick, but it's traded back by 3 more. And it just seems like there's not a thing that Pace can do to get a word in edgewise. So much utility being thrown. They're fighting for the U-Haul control though. Angel just going through. The Nightfall has gone out, but nice shots by Angel to secure 2. Evened it out to a 2v2. Teddy hits the shots over Ender Pearl though. Angel wins yet another duel, but there's no time. 30 HP, runs away, just saving the Vandal.
Ooh, and if you look over on the side of USF, they have so much potential for the post plant. They have those nanostorms. You've got Brimstone with the mollies as well. And if your Rays, manage to get those early picks early in the first half of the round, likely would have at least the paint shells at the end as well. So USF kind of running with it, but we were talking about this a little bit before the broadcast, Hala. When you look at this double limb bracket, it's kind of tough because there are only 4 teams, right? So it passes by really quickly. But they both played up against John Jay, where USF actually had a very close game up against that team. Meanwhile, Pace University, despite making it further in the upper bracket, had a lot more of a difficult time playing up against them. And we kind of expected USF to be the higher seed, the one likely to win this matchup.
Yeah, USF, I think that the fact that USF was having such a close match against John Jay while Pace got ran through is just one of the reasons that they are probably feeling a lot more comfortable in this matchup. And Kazooie and is going to go down to Jinx Rose, the clone kill, and Teddy once again with the aggressive positioning on the rendezvous, getting high up with the tour de force. This is a little bit toxic for any of the defenders who want to come in through spawn. And as soon as those guiding lights, they also miss, and Teddy just has the shot, goes for a second. The tour de force having so much impact in this match, and another flawless for USF.
That's so unfortunate with the guiding light. Teddy was just a couple pixels off from being fully blind, but just going a little bit too far past that mid box. And 7-0 here so far for USF. At the same time though, I feel like not only because of how the history went for previous matchups yesterday for these teams, but you also have to consider the fact that Bind is the map pick of USF here as well, and they're showing to be a lot more comfortable than Pace University looks.
Yeah, and just because it's a best of 1 series, it's unlucky for whoever does not get that map pick, because Pace, they just look very uncomfortable on this map in general right now, and it seems like they are not really comfortable moving around. But Avery, they pick up that operator and is able to take down May. That's the only controller, so they can't isolate the angles well enough. They're trying to pick up the spike, and Green goes down as well. Avery, as long as they're not caught out, this could be an excellent round for Pace, and unfortunately Jinx is able to take down 1. You hear a missed operator shot from Avery, but this team,
look at that reflay.
The players that are left right now on USF. Oh,
this is gonna hurt for Kazooie. They saw the trademark be broken, and now the reflank to come through. Yeah, Neko's just gonna get the drop on her, just coming out on top, turning that in 8-0 fashion here for USF. But things were looking pretty good for Pace that round. This was kind of like the first round that we saw like really nice contention for the site hold there. And I think it was because, we saw the adjustments of where these players are playing on the side of Pace University on the defense, and also USF normally favoring the B site very heavily, kind of just went more so for that straightforward A push this time around. But regardless, Pace, they've been stuck in this really awkward economy situation back onto this kind of half by rounds here. Kazooie going to be mostly anchoring down the A site with the help of Ender Pearl. The first Sky Smoke to go down really deep down in A short, but look at how quick Pace are to just make those rotations come through. I think that with so many rounds that have gone by now, they've kind of noticed that USF, they don't very often fake, at least towards the A site, and they like to commit S5.
Enderpearl does get hit by the C's here, but this is such a good position. I think they expected the C's to completely push them out of position, but they just don't even look towards that corner. And it's also the controller that's the first one in once again, so no isolated angles for this team. And if they keep winning their gunfights like Avery is, then, I mean, this could be a round for Pace. Oh. That's a little bit of an unfortunate paint shell, but it's all right. They have that showstopper in play, and they have to respect it. They pushed into U-Haul to defend themselves, and it's a double black Spax in. Still don't have Spike in control, though, but after Enderpearl goes down, it's going to make it a lot easier to just retrieve that Spike from the front of Truck Ducky, though. Stinger finds the first. Neko just a second too late to save Teddy, but she's still able to find the pick.
It's alright though, on the side of USF, they do have a nice nest egg of savings to spend in the upcoming rounds. And for the side of Pace University, that round was really nice. It was a nice and tight round for an eco. There was a lot of good eco damage done as well to be able to, you know, take guns out of their hands, whittle down their economy as much as they can. But, okay. We initially thought it was going to be a force. That was just the save round, I believe, on the side of Pace University, and they're actually electing to go for another half buy, and I think that has to do with the fact that they want to be able to buy up full rifles alongside an operator for Avery for the next one.
Yeah, I think this half buy, I mean, they're being able to make it expensive for USF, and because USF has won 9 in a row, they have a lot of economy built up, so they're really going to need to do damage every single round if they want to wear them down that way. But Jinx throws, able to find that first onto Avery. Not a lot of value found by those paint shells or the Spectre here. Neko now initiating with the double satchels. Gets in the site along with the attacking Killjoy lockdown, and there is just not much that Pace can do to try and stop them.
No, and what looked like a nice double elbow hold out on the side of Pace University, well, actually does come to fruition for them in the end. To 3v4 situation now. You've got the defender side, the Killjoy lockdown to come out as well. Interesting choice considering that some of these members are still stuck on pistols only. And to Enderpearl and Kazooie just need to wait for the lockdown to be initiated, but without Ender to throw down those smokes to provide cover towards Hookah and Long, Kazooie's gonna fall, and it doesn't matter because Teddy's gonna clean things up. It's 10-0 here for USF.
Teleport's ready.
10-0, already double digits and just hurtling to the end of this half. Avery now picking up that operator, but this is their full buy, and this is a round that they need to win, or they're stuck on the last round of the half without a buy, since they are so low on credits here. And they have 4 ultimates ready, and I expect them to be able to use every single one in order to try and secure this round. But Kazooie, unfortunately, using that lockdown in the last round when they were on a half buy, a little bit of an eco, then it didn't get much value from that either, so now you just don't have it available for this round. And USF, they haven't been able to stop the pushes, so they need to be good on the retakes, and without the lockdown it becomes a little harder.
I think what's interesting is I would like to see a bit more liberal usage of smokes on the side of Pace University to cut off those sight lines. We are going to see a dark cover being thrown here by Ducky. And, unfortunately, Avery's not able to secure that shot with the operator. The Nightfall to come through. This allows University of Florida to take so much space on site. A free site for the plants here, but Seekers to come through for a quick retake.
Ducky, this is a good position, and just going in, finding 3. Ducky hiding right behind the tube. This is going to be their round with the 3K from Ducky. Neko, can she swing it back? Finds 2 more. The spike's already planted. Oh my god, what is that? Enderpearl's holding down the defuse. She thought she killed the diffuser, and Enderpearl just holds it down. Neko can't even find the pick either. A consolation round from Pace, and an expensive one at that, but at least it is a round.
Imagine if Neko secured the 5v1 ace with just kills through the smoke, but that was right down to the wire. Neko had no idea, and that was really what Pace University needed to do, expend those ultimates, win out the round, but I would have liked to see more guns be able to kind of go into the next one. And that's going to cost them now, considering the fact that it's not a complete full buy here for Pace University on this last round before we swap sides. And it's looking tough because we've talked about this before, behind such a defenders-heavy map where Pace University, they're really going to have to obviously secure that pistol round once we swap, but it's going to be an uphill battle from here.
Yeah, I definitely think that they're going to struggle quite a bit here. Oh my god, Avery though, using the showstopper, taking out Neko. So they don't have that type of a spear, but they do have a tour de force on Teddy, who is now running towards that A site that has been completely rotated off of. Jinx Rose gets the first pick with ease, and now the Sky Smoke's coming in to support. It's just looking like it's going to be run through since the rotations are coming in fairly slowly, but now it's a teleport behind, and Ducky does get caught out by Teddy so easily, and now it's a 4v2.
Ooh, that's so unfortunate. It was just a little bit too close, I think. The turret, though, to grab a bit of information, you have Karen, who's holding down the fort in U-Haul as well. Teddy just took so much poke damage, but it doesn't matter when you have the tool de force in hand. But unbeknownst to them, Keizui's actually dropped. Gonna actually fall to the turret here. But time is running down. It doesn't seem like Keizui really has enough of it to get the defuse in. And it doesn't matter because May's there for the refrag. Anyways, we're taking it to the next half, 11-1.
11-1 is such a horrible score line as well if you think about it. Because even if you do win the pistol, and you do win your second pistol round, then you have the bonus, and then do you force on the bonus, or do you try to keep them off that match point? And then even if you don't force, then you have to play the rest of the match for match point. So it's such a gamble here when you don't win those rounds on the defense in the first half. And now 11-1 is just such a tough scoreline for for Pace University. But University of South Florida, they got such a big buffer. They can afford to let rounds go. But I'm not sure if they're just trying to get this over with as quickly as possible.
Hopefully not letting rounds go, but they do have a lot more to play with, so there's opportunity there. The boombots are going to kiss just outside of Hookah, so not information gathered, unfortunately, within Hookah itself, but it's enough to actually get Neko to fall back, because when you look at the setup for their Killjoy, they've got it set up actually for the plant and the drop. So you want to be playing far back. You don't have to expend any players towards Hookah in that kind of situation. Just play off the Killjoy util, hope that the Nanoswarms do enough damage. Which they are!
Yeah,
that was one.
Well, yep. Jinxtros doing the work with the setup here, but now they've narrowed it down to a 2v2. This is a pretty good situation for them, all things considered. The paranoia goes out. It doesn't connect. They don't try to follow up on it either. They just run away through the teleporter, and it's already been sniffed out. This defender side rotation is just so much shorter than it is for the attackers by so many seconds, and Teddy already there in heaven, in good position, spots out the head of Ducky, wishes the shot on the headhunter, but knows exactly where they are. They have to go for the plant now. Green is in good position, already through U-Haul. They have no control, and now it's left in a 1v2. Ducky now looking towards that triple, and Teddy is able to find the pick. It's just so nicely done and so clean from USF, and now no choice for Pace but to force.
You also see a lot more coordination on the side of USF. I like on the side of Pace University that we've seen adjustments come through, although they haven't been able to kind of yield too many results. It's nice to see that they are adapting. They are doing their best to try to counteract the way that USF is playing. But even just looking at that crossfire that USF set up on that retake situation, they weren't going to let the 1v1s happen, which is something on the side of Pace University. I found that they... Wait. Was that an accidental trigger of the nanos? Yeah, it definitely was.
Possibly.
I was like, well, anyways, we're gonna get back into the round. It does happen. Neko and Karen are just holding down the fort here in short, and they've already got the spike in hand.
Ooh. This is just This just seems like a little bit of a meltdown from Pace, but at least they have the overgrowth from Sky to just bring those players back. And Kareen is getting a little greedy, but it works out. Ender Pearl just takes out the gun at the wrong time, and now Kareen is able to take so much more space. All left up to one. Kizui with the Sheriff finds first, but it's not enough to stop the onslaught of Spectres. Now 13-1 for USF versus Pace University.
A huge sweep here on Bind for USF on their map pick in the lower bracket final. So they'll be the ones facing up against John Jay. But Tala, that was a really interesting map. I mean, on the side of Pace, we did see adjustments come through. It was nice to see them doing their best to adapt to the playstyle of USF. But USF definitely just seemed like the more overall coordinated team.
Mm-hmm. I definitely felt like USF, even in the matches that I saw the day before, because they were playing Haven, and Haven is a map that just favors that coordination, the late lurks, the coming in and anchoring those power positions, and they played that incredibly well with the 13-4. And Pace, they were weak on Bind yesterday, and even though they had a little bit of time for adjustment, it just didn't seem like it was enough. So it's another 13-1 against Pace, but it's a good congratulations to USF for advancing to the finals.
Yep, and unfortunately, due to some conflicts, we aren't going to be able to see finals played out today. That will be rescheduled at a later date to be determined. But we are so thankful for you guys to be joining us, that being Ash, myself, and Tala, also known as Epitomes on the desk, and hope you guys enjoyed the Valorant action. We might see you guys next time, but all in all, we'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for tuning in.